Hi there, it's Nicole here today with some Snowflakes and Sparkles cards for Simon Says Stamp. It is DieCember at Simon Says Stamp, meaning we are celebrating everything die cutting. And I am celebrating with not just these two cards, but actually four. Accidentally, I deleted everything on my video camera card before I had uploaded it to my computer. I thought I had already uploaded it. And so since I accidentally deleted everything with the kind of rose gold and magenta color combination, I decided to go ahead and create two more cards exactly like those, but use a different color combination so you can see even more of the stunning colors of glitter cardstock that Simon Says Stamp has brought out for DieCember. I am going to start, I'm using tons of the new dies. So new dies number 1 is this Sensational Snowflake Collage. And this is really the star of the show for the first card design. In fact, I was only going to stick with this, but I love all the fantastic snowflake dies that were released so much that I ended up using another one for another set of cards with a similar technique, just using different dies. So this is the Sensational Snowflake Collage. That brush I'm using is the brush tool for Sizzix, and it's just this foam pad and a brush where it helps remove little delicate die cut pieces from dies, which is going to be fantastic here in a little bit when I start with the bigger snowflakes. Now, along the top and bottom edges, I could have just cut those straight, but I decided I wanted a little bit of a decorative edge. For the first one, I am using a stitched WIMBLEY borders. This is more of the kind of messy stitched borders or wandering stitched borders, if you want to call them that. There's two different borders in the WIMBLEY borders. This is also new. And I'll use the other one for the second set of cards. Now, my favorite way to do an inlay is to cover the back of the die cut element that I'm going to be inlaying with foam adhesive. This creates not only a dimensional area for the panel that we're going to be attaching to the card base, which I always like a little bit of dimension, but it provides adhesive, which is fantastic. So I am just cutting some little squares from the different colors of Simon Says Stamp glitter cardstock. The colors I am using for the blue card are white gold, I believe it is. It's just a white glitter. I'm using black glitter. I'm using the silver glitter, sapphire, and aqua glitter papers. They are gorgeous. Using a jewel picker really helps with all these little areas. And so that I didn't ruin an entire sheet of this glitter cardstock, I just cut little areas big enough to fit back behind what I'm die cutting. So there's really no waste. And I'm going to keep these little snowflakes because I'm going to use them on my second set of cards. So I'm just going to set those over to the side, and I'll show you that here in a little bit when we get to the second card design. A piercing tool does help. If anything is maybe sticking, a straight pin would work as well. I kind of like when it sticks in the die because it doesn't go scattering everywhere, especially for all those little teeny tiny triangle pieces. However, this is really, while it seems a little bit time consuming maybe, I find it really relaxing, and I love the look of inlays, and the glitter paper really just makes the whole inlay thing a completely different look. So awesome. And the rainbow and array of colors available in the glitter cardstock is just phenomenal. So here I've got my sapphire and my black already done. I die cut these three at one time. I just kind of alternated every other one. That's the white glitter is the first one. And then we're going to do a little aqua and silver. And you can see I've used this quite a bit, and I have tons of glitter cardstock left. I only have the 6x6 sheets in all the colors. However, I did place a personal order and ordered tons more because after I had die cut it with it for sharing these projects for DieCember, I knew that I was going to need lots more. So I did place an order for the glitter cardstock because I really love it. Here is my aqua snowflake. The jewel picker is fantastic. Those little pieces would be a bear to attach with my fingers. A quick stick tool would work as well. I've been using this jewel picker a lot lately. I've kind of really been enjoying it. So there are the two versions side by side, so you can see kind of where we're at in the design. We are ready for our third new die for DieCember. This is the Sensational Snowflakes. Just like the Sensational Snowflake Collage, this is really the same design, just no squares. This is the snowflakes only, which would create a fantastic inlay all on its own, I think. Or you can do what I did here. I die cut this from Vellum. I'm just going to attach each of these with a glue dot right in the center, slightly skewed. I kind of like seeing them not perfectly lined up, and that adds a nice dimension to the design. Next, I've got a piece of fun foam here that I am backing on both sides with Stick-It adhesive. If you follow me at all, you probably know that I absolutely love dimensional scripty type of greetings on my cards, and this is my favorite way to do it. This time we are going to be attaching glitter cardstock to this and die cutting Merry and Bright. This is a die previously released from Simon Says Stamp, but I thought it was very fitting. These cards are basically all die cuts except for a small stamped sentiment phrase on each. This card especially, very, very heavy with dies. The other card is too. However, instead of doing the dimensional sentiment like I did here, I just stamped a greeting to show you two different examples. But I find it amazing how we can create stunning cards with basically only die cuts. There are so many fantastic die designs available nowadays that we really, even though stamps are fantastic and great, and I know we all love them, we can create amazing card designs with just dies. I just love seeing how this industry has moved and grown, and all of the fantastic new products that are available to us now that maybe weren't before. Dies are something that I'm going to be concentrating on a lot in the coming year, as well as stamping as always, but I just really am excited about the possibilities with dies and all the fun things you can do with them. I'm just popping out the little pieces that might be sticking. They do die cut beautifully. However, those little pieces stick. They're die cut all the way through, but they're so teeny tiny, and with the Stick-It adhesive and the fun foam and everything, they just want to stay put inside there. So I'm just going to use my piercing tool to pop all of those out. And then I'm going to line up the word bright first, kind of near the, or on the right side here. I'm using the card I created originally as a guide. When I first did this, I had already laid out my dies on my card to gauge kind of where I thought that the finished dimensional greeting would go. Next, we have the ampersand that's die cut from the black glitter cardstock. Bright is from white. The ampersand is from black. And it's going to overlay the word just a little bit. In order to make everything fit, I did have to overlay the little swoops and swirls from Merry and Bright. But as I look through all of my holiday themed dies, sentiment dies, this was the one that I liked the best and I thought worked really awesome with the snowflakes. So I just made it work. Slight overlap, and I really think it kind of works for this design. I like how it looks. The word Merry is die cut from the silver glitter. I wanted to keep the focus on the snowflakes, and I thought if I die cut the greetings from either the aqua or the sapphire, or for the more pink version of the card, magenta and rose gold, it would take away from the snowflake design. So I kept the greeting very basic. Now, even though there's fun foam on the back of this, I went ahead and stamped a sentiment from the Merry Everything stamp set. This came out several years ago from Simon Says Stamp, and it is still one of my favorites. I love the greeting. It reads, "May the lights of the holiday season brighten your days all year." I think that that greeting works really well with a merry and bright type of sentiment. And I stamped it with Versamark, embossed with silver embossing powder, and had no trouble doing that, even though there's some foam adhesive on the back of this panel. Because it's pretty much covers the whole thing, it really didn't bother the stamping at all. And I think it fills in the design nicely. We're finishing the card now with a scattering of Nuvo crystal drops in Simply White, White Blizzard, and the Silver Moon Dust. Again, I don't want to take away from the snowflakes. I just want to add to the greeting or to the design. So I'm going to set that aside to completely dry after, and I attached it to the card base, and now we're going to work on the second design. Very, very similar to the first, but we're going to use different dies, and we're going to forego the dimensional die cut greeting. First up, we've got a panel of white cardstock, again, just like the last card. And this time, we're going to use the Sparkling Snowflake Breeze border die. Again, I was really looking for dies that I thought would work fantastic with an inlay style. And this design is definitely one of those. I think they're really, really fun. They have released some breeze dies before in the past, I think maybe some hearts and things. And I always love these because I think they're just so pretty, clean and simple, but yet make a big impact. So I'm just going to kind of carefully move my die, and I need to pop out all these little white pieces. I don't need to keep any of these for this card at all, because just like the last one, we're going to inlay with glitter cardstock. Also, just like the previous card, I'm going to cut little rectangles and die cut all of these little areas with the glitter cardstock so that I don't waste an entire sheet of cardstock by die cutting right through the middle and wasting a whole bunch. Before we get to adding the foam adhesive and the glitter pieces, we need to go ahead and die cut the borders again. This time I'm going to use the scallop design border from the Stitched WIMBLEY borders. And I like to just kind of line it up here. I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. This one is not quite as wide as the last one. You can definitely do it however you want to, but I will go ahead and repeat that along the bottom edge. And then I cut those little strips of glitter paper, and I'm popping the elements out and adhering them with my jewel picker. Now, on the pink card, I did end up die cutting from all three colors, even though there's really only 4 main snowflakes in this Sparkling Snowflake Breeze, and I just mixed and matched. For the blue version, I ended up only using silver, aqua, sapphire, and white, and I left the black off of this card altogether. It really doesn't matter. Either way works. Just whatever you like. I would love to see these, and I even considered it, but I didn't do it today. Ran out of time. I think it would be fun to do rainbow color in anything of these. I think it would be really cool to see what it looks like in rainbow glitter cardstock pieces. I think it would be really, really fun. I'm going to continue filling in all these little areas. This is the most time-consuming part, is the inlay, but once you have that, it is just so stunning, so pretty, and makes such a great impact that I think it's really worth the time and effort. I'll finish adding these in, and then just like the last card, we are going to take a sentiment from Merry Everything and stamp that kind of in that little space on the right side underneath the snowflake border. There's a little space that I think fits the greeting that we're going to use perfectly, and that's the "Wishing you were near, so I'm sending holiday cheer." This is a greeting I have used multiple times from this stamp set. I think it's beautiful. I love the saying, and the design is perfect, and it just seems to really fit right there in that little space where that kind of swoop comes in with the snowflakes. It just fits perfectly. Again, stamping with Versamark ink and heat embossing with that silver embossing powder. This is the Simon Says Stamp Silver Embossing Powder. I think it works beautifully and really complements the silver glitter cardstock we're using today. Just going to tap off that excess and get it cleaned up. Now this card definitely has less glitter than the last one. And to kind of counteract that, since this panel has a lot less going on than the previous card, we're going to fill the background, or faux fill the background, with some of the incredible snowflake designs that Simon came out with for DieCember. This is the Felicity snowflake, and we're also going to use the Bliss and Joy snowflakes. The Felicity huge snowflake is gorgeous. Now, there's no need to waste the cardstock and waste all these gorgeous snowflakes underneath where that border is going to go. So what I did to extend the life and make it so I didn't have to die cut multiple snowflakes and waste my paper is I'm just trimming out sections and adhering them all over my card design. Here is one of the other snowflakes. This is the Bliss snowflake. Again, I just cut it in half. I did this for both cards. It made it so I only had to cut these 3 snowflakes once, but I got 6 faux snowflakes from those 3. You could probably even use the extra little pieces more if you wanted to. Now, I kept these pieces from the first card. I think I mentioned that earlier. And those little, the snowflake pieces from the Sensational Snowflake Collage. That is because I can use those, if I just trim them out of the rectangle, to fill in little areas. And then the little snowflakes are from that Sparkling Snowflake Breeze. I just die cut a few of those. Fill in all these little areas. Go ahead and peel off the foam backing paper from this, and I'm going to pop my border in place. I did this first, and then I'm simply going to flip it over, take some scissors. These are the 9.5 inch long Tim Holtz shears. I like these for cutting off things off of the edge, and I'm going to remove all of those little excess pieces. And there is my beautiful glittery snowflake background. It gives the illusion of all of these snowflakes in the background, even though it doesn't completely fill that space. So no waste, basically, which I absolutely love. Again, I'm going to fill in the little snowflake bursts and areas and a few other places with some Nouveau crystal drops in Simply White, White Blizzard, and Silver Moon Dust, and my cards are all finished. Here is another look at all 4 cards in both colorways. I hope this has inspired you to create some cards featuring die cuts only. Thanks for joining me today for these Snowflakes and Sparkles cards featuring Simon Says Stamps and Dies from the DieCember release at Simon Says Stamp. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Simon Says Stamp that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.